On this video of I Don't Give an XJ, I'm going to go through the details of the cross-country overlanding trip that we're going to take in a couple of months, and kind of the insanity of the amount of miles we're going to try to cover in a very short period of time, and just kind of go through some details of that trip, where we're going, basic ideas of what I have, and some gear that I'm going to be bringing along, and just trying to talk through what all needs to be done before we leave, as well as what we plan to accomplish while we're out on the trail. Here is the route that we plan on taking. I live in North Carolina. My brother-in-law lives in eastern Pennsylvania, and part of the first day we plan on each driving approximately the 8 hours that it takes to get to around Indianapolis, where we're going to load his gear in my Jeep and park his vehicle somewhere. And rather than head north and then shoot over to South Dakota, we're gonna go south just to see something different, so we don't take the same route twice, and head towards Kansas City and then shoot up into South Dakota. And our first objective is the Badlands. We would like to spend a little bit of time there. Not sure how much it's going to allot us. It will depend on how fast we can make it in, I'd say about 2 days out to South Dakota. And then in there we're also going to stop in Deadwood, and then kind of take the lower portion of the Wyoming section. You could go north to Yellowstone, but we're going to take the southern route and hit this area in here of Yellowstone. And then our other main objective is Glacier National Park, and there we plan on hopefully spending a couple of days up in that area. Most of our time probably will be spent at Glacier, Badlands, and Deadwood. Yellowstone is going to be hit or miss. If it's too congested and we can't find any good side roads to take with some good scenery, we're probably not going to spend a whole lot of time there. But if we like what we see, then we'll have to figure it out at that point how much time we can fit in. Once we hit Glacier, that's pretty much the end, and between Glacier and back to Indianapolis, that's 26 hours. I don't think there's a whole lot in between. I've taken a look at this route. I don't see many national parks or anything to really drive through. If you want to leave some comments about this area and let us know what we could stop and see, we can factor that into the trip. But 26 hours, we'll hoof back as quick as we can, and it'll probably take about 2 days. And then once we get to Indianapolis, it's going to take another 8 hours to get back home. And we've scheduled 11 days for this trip, and I'll show you the details next. Here are a couple of details for the trip. We're looking at approximately, now I did this all on Google Maps going from point to point, and I know that's just a rough estimate. It doesn't include taking any side roads. This is just motoring straight through, only including gas and go stops. This is the time frame that it would give us. So we've got 6,000 miles that we're going to try to accomplish in 11 days. That's 90 straight hours if we only did gas and goes, and that leaves us about 7 days to sleep and explore. And then what I did is I put together all the points and took into consideration the Google time and the buffer time for quick stops and grabbing something quick to eat. And as you can see there, that's about 6,000 miles and 11 and a half hours for gas and go stops that whole time. And it's like I said, this does not include sleeping. This is just if we were to motor through and get it all out of the way in one shot, because I just wanted to figure out how much time do we actually have to sleep and to do what we want. And as you can see here, it's just over 7 days, and the total here 5920. Like I said, that doesn't include any side trails or anything like that, but I just wanted a general idea of time and what we had to play with overall. What I'll be driving is a 99 XJ. This does have a 4.5-inch rough country lift that's treated me relatively well so far, and I do have lunchbox lockers on the front, Aussie locker, and it's had a lot of new internals in the engine bay put in within the last year. The one thing I'm concerned about is tires. I don't know if they're not too bad, as you can see, but I'm debating on just go ahead and throwing on a new set of tires before we go, but I can decide that about a week beforehand when I get the alignment done before we head on the road. As far as storage, in my other videos I showed you the bed that I made, which doubles as storage. If I can get the locks open here. So both these open up, so I've got storage inside, and the guy that's going with me plans on sleeping in a tent whenever we can, and when he can't sleep in a tent, we'll slam all our gear up front, and we can lay here on this side and on this elevated bed that I made. And that's gonna be the configuration when we do travel. That gives us storage inside as well as storage on the back seat floor area underneath here. When we're traveling, all of our gear can go back here, and I'll secure it and put a net up, and we'll have everything in the front seat. And I just did a 2-night camping trip, and we did that exact same thing. We had 2 people sleep in the Jeep last night, threw all of our gear up front here because it was pouring rain, and that worked out well. On top, I plan on keeping what I'm going to use as my shade system, and I went over this in another video, but I'm going to use these large umbrellas. I did it for the camping trip I just mentioned, and it really protected us from the rain when I had the back hatch open, and if it's sunny out, it'll give a shade. They fold up into these bags, and then the bags, all I'm going to do is secure them on the inside on the sides of the roof rack. And for extra parts, as far as like radiator hoses, some fluids, and other miscellaneous things like U-joints, as well as some tools, I'm going to keep them in this Hardig case. It's a military case that's pressurized, and I've traveled with this to Texas before, and just strap it on top, throw as much stuff as I can into it that I don't really necessarily have to get to unless we break down or something comes up. So I'm gonna put as much as I can in that. The umbrellas will go on the sides, and that'll pretty much be everything that I'm gonna put up top for that trip. I might have a couple of little things, or we might throw the chairs up top if we run out of room. Other than that, I have this ammo can on the back of my tire carrier, and inside there I also have extra fluids, the nozzle and a funnel for the 5-gallon gas can. I haven't decided if I'm going to carry another 5 gallons, and if I do, I'm going to have to figure out how to put that on the roof. Maybe even both of them, and then put something else here if I need to. Other than that, I think we should be able to fit everything. We are going to stay maybe 2 nights in a hotel, just so that we can clean up and feel human, do some laundry so we don't have to bring a whole bunch of laundry. I only plan on bringing 1 bag. And other than that, we're just going to kind of wing it and see how it goes. I know I showed the detail of, how many hours this is going to take, but we're going to try to do this a little bit flying by the seat of our pants. I don't want to plan it minute by minute. I don't want to have to worry about getting here or there at any specific time, and that's the whole point of sleeping in the Jeep and him sleeping in the tent. I just want to, if we need to park at a truck stop, we'll park at a truck stop. If we can find a campsite, we'll do that. If we need to park at a rest stop, whatever, the trip hands us, we just want to be ready to take it, and neither one of us are too concerned about being here at a certain time, or being there, or making sure that we cover this or that. Just kind of go with the flow and make the most of it. As you can see, from the details, we are going to be really pressed for time, and I'm okay with that. It's all about the adventure, so no matter what happens, we will have fun, make it work, and if we break down, it's still going to be a good story. So that's what I have so far. I will follow back up when I'm further along into this, and as I decide what I want to do. And if you have any comments or questions, please leave them below, and subscribe to follow the trip. We do plan on making videos while we're out there, and go through our trials and adventures, and that should be a lot of fun. Thanks for watching.